My man is here. I want to bring him on. We are joined with the man himself, Dan Kovalik. How you doing, Dan? You doing okay today?
I'm hanging in there. How you doing?
I am doing okay. Thank you for showing up. I always appreciate when my guests show up. I think it sucks when they don't. But I reach out to David. He's been pretty consistent up to this point. Dan Kovalik, he's an American human rights, labor rights lawyer, and peace activist. He is also former professor at the University of Pittsburgh. Dan, you are the person I want to talk to today. You're the person I
Great.
want to talk to. So this clip came out. Qatar attacked during negotiations. Now, I would argue that Hamas was lured into that trap by Donald Trump, who effectively put out an agreement that they were there to look at and mull over. And this is no different than Donald Trump luring Soleimani to get killed, luring the Iranians with quote unquote fake negotiations, where they were once again attacked during those fake negotiations. Donald Trump believing that he could get a decapitation strike using Israel to do it. And now you have a similar situation where Donald Trump threatens, bellyaches, oh, you better take my deal. They go, they look at the deal, and then Israel goes and tries to murder all of them. All right. So this is the strike, just so people can see it. Right here, right here, right here. And I have a question for you after this.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God! Sana hindi pumani yung kotse.
All right. So obviously, that's not good. And Doha seems it's such a just a radical invasion of sovereignty at that point. Now the prime minister comes out and says this, and I'm amazed by this statement. But effectively, the argument that he's making is this is outrageous. This is invasion of our territory. And Israel, all of us should work together in order to push back on what Israel is doing. Is it me or is this is a bit rich as an argument to make, considering they've watched and supported Syria being taken down? They've watched Lebanon being invaded. They've watched Gaza, a genocide being committed for all of these years. They watched Iran get hit with soft help to Israel as they hit Iran. And they were going to make diplomatic ties with the Abraham Accords. So how are they now turning around saying, hey, we can use some help dealing with Israel? Give me your take on that. Am I being too much of a hard ass when I'm making that case?
No, I don't think so at all. I mean, what happened yesterday is shocking for a lot of reasons. First of all, you had Israel do this, as you say, during peace negotiations, clearly done to destroy the peace negotiations, right? Make no mistake about that. And they did it with the U.S.'s blessing. We know that Trump gave his blessing for this, and I agree with you that he lured them, the Hamas delegation there, to meet their death, he had hoped. Meanwhile, you have Saudi Arabia and Jordan who provided the airspace for Israel to attack Qatar. So the level of complicity here in the attack, in the genocide, the underlying genocide in Gaza is really profound. Um, and it's very troubling. What it shows is, to me, is no one's going to come to the Palestinians' rescue, right? If the world lets this go by without challenge, and it appears that's what's going to happen, then anything goes, right?
Mhm.
And again, I think that's the message the U.S. and Israel want to send time and time again: is anything goes. They can do anything they want with impunity, and nothing is going to happen to them. And the Arab states, for their part, despite all the things they say about the Palestinians, they are not going to lift a finger to protect them. In fact, they are going to be complicit in their destruction. I mean, that is just a fact.
You know, I want to play this clip for you, and I want to get your take on this clip because my point of view was like, this is a bit rich. I listened to him, and I'm sitting here thinking to myself, dude, how are you making this case? Like, because we should put it in context, right? The Gulf states help pay for the destruction of Syria. They help fund that.
Yes.
That
Well,
atrocity.
Qatar first and foremost, they were the key funder of Al Qaeda in Syria, and Al Qaeda was the
Yes.
group that took over. No, Qatar. Yeah, no, absolutely. Qatar.
No, go ahead.
Yeah. No, they were the.
No,
Yeah, no, they were key. And in fact, in the new book that just came out, my book with Jeremy Kuzmarov, Syria Anatomy of a Regime Change. You know, Qatar gets special mention. They did the funding for Al Qaeda when it was, you know, a bit embarrassing for the U.S. to do it directly. But also they have an ideological simpatico with Al Qaeda and have for a long time. But yeah, no, it's an amazing thing.
On top of that, they watched, given, you know, strongly worded statements to Israel murder, rape, starve, shoot Palestinians for years at this point. Meaning, I guess my thing is, at no point were these Gulf states willing to contribute, help, or anything short of a strongly worded statement. And yet, he comes out and he makes this statement now that they got hit. And it's almost to me as if they thought they were somehow special. And I don't quite know why they thought that. This is his statement. It's a little bit long, but I want to get to a very specific point in the statement.
Of Qatar is committed to act in a decisive way with anything that would target its territories, and will reserve the right to retaliate, and will take all the needed measures to retaliate. And under the directives of His Highness the Emir, the security of the citizens and the residents is our top priority. And based on that, as of tomorrow, God willing, we will review all the policies and the directives in order to deter such actions and measures in the future, so that it cannot happen again. And this will be also the committee will be headed by State Minister Mohammed Al Khalifi, who will take all the needed measures in order to retaliate and to respond to this attack, against this attack. The Israeli attack that took place today in the state of Qatar, we can only call it as a state terrorism that is being exerted by someone like Netanyahu, given his attempts and his policies as he tries to threaten the regional security. This is only a clear message to the whole region, and this message says that there is one player, and there's also a disrespect to all the policies and also a violation to the sovereignty of all the countries and the states. Netanyahu said himself that he will reshape the Middle East. Does he mean that he's also going to reshape the Gulf region?
Yes.
I think that we have...
He already has. He already has.
Should be a retaliation from the whole region.
Right there. He immediately takes it to, is Netanyahu trying to reshape the entire region? And he says there should be retaliation from the entire region. So up to this point, they've had no interest in getting involved on anything. And now it's, hey, we've been attacked. This is outrageous.
Maybe all of us has a military base in Qatar, right? I mean,
yes,
Qatar is a party to all this. And so is Saudi Arabia. So is Jordan. It's a joke. It's a joke. I mean, I just think what he did is just performative cynicism. I mean, these governments in the Gulf are just fake governments.
Yeah.
You know, they don't represent anyone but the wealthy oil barons in those countries. Qatar will do nothing. They won't retaliate. They won't do anything. You know, and again, it's worse. It's not just that the Gulf states have passively allowed these things to happen. They're supporting Israel. They're helping
Yes.
Israel.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
and again, Saudi Arabia and Jordan helped Israel in this attack by allowing Israel to use their airspace. So, and that happens all the time, that their airspace is used to attack Yemen, to allow Israel to attack Yemen, right? To allow Israel to
Iran.
attack Iran.
Yep.
I mean, um, there's no solidarity. There's no solidarity with their fellow Arab peoples, either in Gaza or in Syria. Again, it's just pure cynicism. And yeah, as we both, kind of shouted out during his speech, um, you can hear my cat running around. Sorry.
Oh, he's fine. It's fine.
um, Israel and the U.S. have already remade the Gulf, right? In 1973, Saudi Arabia helped lead an oil boycott of the West in defense of the Palestinians.
Right.
They will, unless there's a revolution or a very serious change in the Saudi regime, you'll never see anything like that again. They've already been remade into a total vassal of the West. And I think the Arab peoples, for their part, are ashamed of these governments, right? From Egypt to Saudi Arabia, the Arab peoples are bristling under these governments. In Jordan, which is mostly Palestinian, most of the Jordanian military is Palestinian. They can't be happy with any of this, but their governments do as they please.
When he's making this plea for other governments to help, do you think Saudi Arabia, any of these governments, is going to lend assistance? Because look, to be honest, I don't know if he's performing. Like, for all intents and purposes, he knows that the population is going to be very angry that Israel has violated their sovereignty. And on some level, they have to emote, at the very least, to show and reflect that anger, right? Trump is saying he gave him warning. He's saying Trump did not give warning, that Trump gave him warning like 10 minutes when it's too late. Okay, I don't know which one it is, right? In either case, even if Trump did give warning, he would do the exact same thing. He has to do that. Like, politically, he has to do that. He has to behave that way. Oh, I'm outraged. And then they went showing their weapon system, saying, look at our weapons. It's like, dude, you already, like, I described it on Twitter. I said, it's almost like somebody got cucked and then claimed that they didn't, and yet they have it on OnlyFans where you can effectively see exactly what took place. Do you think Saudi Arabia or any of these governments are going to come to their aid and assistance?
No, or they wouldn't have allowed Israel to use their airspace to do what they did. I mean, of course they're not. And Qatar's not going to do anything. If they were, they'd do it already. They would have done it already. They wouldn't need this guy to stand up at a podium and talk about the things they're going to do. They would have done them. They're not going to do anything. It's sad. It's very sad.
Why do you think they're so shocked? That part got me too. Like, the media seems to be flipping out. People seem to be shocked by this. And I guess to me, it's like, we've watched them commit a genocide with impunity. Why are you shocked that they look at you in the exact same way that they look at people from Gaza or the West Bank or from Lebanon or from Syria? What makes you special?
They hate Arabs. Right. Israel hates Arabs. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're Palestinian or they're Qatari or Saudi. Yeah, there's no reason they should trust Israel. And maybe they don't deep down, but they are willing to deal with them nonetheless. It's like the line in Godfather Part 2, where Frankie Five Angels says, he criticizes Michael for dealing with Hyman Roth. And he says, and Michael says, well, my father, he did business with Hyman Roth. He respected Hyman Roth. And Frankie Five Angel says, your father did business with Hyman Roth. He respected Hyman Roth, but he never trusted Hyman Roth. And, um, I'm sure
That is a great line.
Yeah, the Gulf position on Israel, right? I mean,
Yeah.
they don't trust him, but they will deal with him anyway,
You did business. He said, your dad never trusted him. You might have did business with him. You never trusted him. And what makes this even worse, Donald Trump apparently pat him on the head and said, hey, it's okay. I need you to continue negotiations. There's that, right? And then he says, and I'll make sure this doesn't happen again. So the habitual liar that just lured somebody into another trap to get them murdered, you have to trust that guy to ensure your country doesn't get hit again.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
No, I mean, and you can't. I mean, you shouldn't. Again, it's the line, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I mean, how can people continue to be fooled? I mean, as you say, I mean, Trump is a pathological liar. Netanyahu's a pathological liar. They cannot be trusted. They can't. And you can't make a deal with them. I mean, that's the other problem. And that we've seen that throughout this war, this genocide on Gaza, that Israel doesn't abide by any deals they make. They break them the day they make them. They've done that with the war in Gaza. They've done it with the war in Lebanon. I mean, Israel's now occupying parts of southern Lebanon. That's a total violation of the peace deal with Lebanon, but they do it anyway. Again, they just can't be trusted. So there can't be a deal. I mean, just by definition, there can't be a deal, because even if you have it, it's no better than the paper it's printed on.
Yeah. I'm curious on something else. Why do you think they did this? I
was listening to an analysis this morning saying, and it was an Israeli who was talking. He actually said that, Netanyahu wanted to do this, Shin Bet wanted to do it, Mossad did not want to do it. And, he believes, and I think this is right, that this was about Netanyahu trying to prevent any type of peace deal. That is why he did it. He wants to assure there can't be a deal, because he wants to go all the way in Gaza with the final solution, which is murdering the Palestinian people there and getting rid of Hamas's negotiating team would do that. I guess Mossad, as bad as they are, they would like some kind of deal, But again, so there are divisions within the Israeli government on these sorts of things, and Netanyahu wanted to make sure peace is not possible. That's what he's doing.
But that's interesting, though. Why would Mossad be the dissenting?
The voice of reason? Well, because, I mean, there's people in Israel that understand that this war is destroying Israel, right? That it is making Israel the most reviled nation in the world. It is undermining the security of Israel for that reason, right? Because no one wants to trade with them. No one wants to be seen with them. Israeli tourists are being hounded and sometimes arrested in other countries.
Right.
And by the way, many Israeli soldiers are coming back from Gaza broken physically. All of them are coming back broken mentally. Many are committing suicide. Again, any objective, Israeli would have to say, look, yeah, we're destroying the Palestinians, but we're destroying ourselves in the process. So, of course, there's going to be people who are going to dissent on this, not because they care about the Palestinians, but because they care about the viability of Israel.
Yeah, self-preservation. Mina Uncensored, she has a Twitter account, and she said she thinks this was more about Qatar. That, for all intents and purposes, that they were complaining about, effectively, Saudi Arabia and Qatar said something like, well, unless you accept a two-state solution, then we're not going to be a part of the Abraham Accords, or threatening, well, if you take the West Bank, we're not going to be part of the Abraham Accords. And this was kind of Trump's way and Israel's way of saying, you are fair game.
Right.
And unless you want to get attacked, just like Syria, Lebanon, etc., you will bend the knee and you will join those accords in order for your own self-preservation.
That makes sense. I think that there's probably an aspect to that too. I think it's a 2-for-1 deal for Netanyahu in that regard. Yeah, I certainly think that's true. And I think, at this point, can Qatar host Hamas anymore? I wouldn't think so. So yeah, no, that makes sense to me.
Well, that's the other interesting part. Like, you've tried to murder the negotiating team. Like, this is the political wing. This is not even
Right.
the military wing. Obviously, how do you have negotiations in that context? And Trump's telling Qatar, hey, I want you to continue the negotiations with Hamas. How do you do that? Like, Qatar has to know that Donald Trump gave the green light for Israel to do this. They have to know.
Of course. Well, I think Donald Trump has openly said that. I mean, I don't think it's even a secret that the U.S. gave the green light for it.
Greater Israel goes through Qatar, and if I'm not mistaken, Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. It does. It does. That is the dream, or the nightmare, depending on your perspective. But yeah, no, we're watching something very terrible. And again, I'm very disappointed that the world is allowing this to happen. Even that, I don't know if you saw, there were rumors, for example, that the UN General Assembly had voted to have their September meeting in Geneva and not New York City because Trump wouldn't give visas to the Palestinian delegation. And that is what should have happened. And it's happened before.
Right.
Over Palestine. It didn't happen, though. That didn't happen. They're meeting in New York City right now. The UN won't even do that. Small thing to support what is right.
But
to defend the integrity of the United Nations, right? To defend the integrity of the Palestinians. They won't even do that. They're meeting in New York this week.
Qatar has to know that this sets a precedent. Like, meaning, even if you're a vassal, your sovereignty has just been destroyed. They have a military. So they have a capability that the Palestinians didn't have, that Syria didn't necessarily have. How can they allow this? Like, meaning, even if you're a vassal, even if you accept your status as a vassal, you've just been attacked. And if you don't do anything, you've set a precedent that allowed yourself to be attacked. Meaning, if they hit you once, they can hit you again. You didn't do anything the first time around. So what's the expectation for the second time around? You would think that they are forced to respond just by definition, but you don't expect anything to come out of them in this case.
No, because of the level of their of their subservience to Israel and the United States, and out of fear. I think they fear if they hit back that there'll be a worse retaliation by Israel, which is possibly true. There's certainly precedent for that. So they're going to talk a big game, like you saw, and that's going to be it. And yeah, there'll be wringing of hands and gnashing of teeth, but there will not be any retaliation.
That is amazing. That is amazing. I agree with you. I thought to myself, they'll send a strongly worded letter that would be promptly thrown in the trash.
Yeah.
And I would imagine Israel looks at this and says, here's, once again, we've moved the envelope without any real response of us moving the envelope.
Yeah, no, it sends a message to Israel, right? It does, that no one's going to fight you back. I mean, and that's the problem. I mean, I think Israel has been surprised at over the last almost 2 years. We're almost to the second, the second
Yep.
year anniversary of the genocide. I think that they are surprised at how the world has let this happen. I think they thought that they would have been told no by now and stopped, and they haven't been. So that the message that's been sent to them is you can do anything you want. No one's going to stop you. And that's where the world, has shamed itself. Aside for a few notable exceptions, Yemen,
Yeah,
Hezbollah, Iran. That's about it.
Do you think that this is also a message to Saudi Arabia? Like, pipe down on this whole, West Bank stuff. Pipe down on this idea of a two-state stuff. We just hit them. We will hit you too.
Sure. I mean, I think it's a message to everyone. I mean, it's always a message to everyone when you do something like this. Yeah, that there are no limits to what the U.S. and Israel will do or who they will do it to. That is the message. And it terrorizes the world, and well, you see the result of that, don't you?
Wow. That is amazing. That is amazing. Why do you think the world is flipping out like this? Like the screaming headlines? Like this, they've been committing a genocide. Why the sudden shock? Why it's almost like it felt like Qatar is in this ontological shock. Like, oh my God. It's almost like this sounds horrible, but it's like a guy slaps his wife or girlfriend for the first time. And she's just stunned by it. Like, oh, I can't believe you did that. Like, this is not our relationship. Like, this is not the way we relate to one another. I can't believe you just put your hands on me. It's that contradiction between how I see myself, what I thought I was, versus how you see me and what you're willing to do to me in the context of how you see me, and how reality kind of just breaks. It feels like that, where they felt that they were different, that the Saudis, the UAE, Qatar, that they felt like they were in this kind of different space where we're friends with the US, we're buddy. We're not like the Gazans, we're not like the Syrians, we're not like the Iranians, we're something fundamentally different. And this was their wake-up call. And they seem to be, he may be putting on a performance, but he seems legitimately shocked.
Yeah, I don't know. If they are shocked, shame on them, because this would not be the first slap. This would be the 100th slap. All right, this is not the first time this sort of thing has happened. They should know better.
Has Israel hit them before? I don't remember Israel hitting them before.
Well, I don't. For some reason, I thought they might have, but I'm not sure. But they've done all sorts of other things. I mean, again, none of this is surprising. They should, and again, the fact that Israel's doing what they're doing to the Palestinians should be message enough that,
agreed.
Again, that they are not a party you can deal with under any circumstances. But again, they persist, and they'll persist. They'll continue to deal with Israel. I don't think this even kills the Abraham Accords. I mean, again, that's the level that these countries are at. So
wow, Daniel, thank you for this. Thank you for the analysis. It's funny. I wasn't shocked by it. I was shocked that they were shocked.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it's hard to be shocked anymore, right? Again, because of Gaza, you're seeing the worst things you've ever seen in your life. So how can you be shocked by this?
Yeah, exactly. That was my take on it too.
Yeah.
Dan Kovalik, man, thank you for this. Always appreciate talking to you. I always appreciate your analysis, especially on something like this, because I wasn't certain if I was being too much of a hard ass on this. Because,
No.
as I pointed out, I was like, I'm not blaming the victim. In this.
Well, I think when it comes to Qatar, I think it's fair to blame them. I mean, they're a part of all this, unfortunately. Yeah.
Dan Kovalik. Dan Kovalik is a American human rights, labor rights lawyer, peace activist. He's a former professor at the University of Pittsburgh and a damn good friend of the show. Thank you for this, Dan.
Thank you.
Have a
Thank you.
safe
My
one.
pleasure. And I have a new book out, Syria, Anatomy of a Regime Change, with a foreword by Oliver Stone. So go get
You
it.
got Oliver Stone to give the forward. That's awesome.
Yes.
Do you have a copy of the cover where we can?
I do somewhere, not handy, but I can send it to you. Yeah.
Okay, just so the audience can see it for themselves.
Yes. Here, 1 second, I'll get it. Can I
Okay.
go get it? All right.
Yeah. Go for it. All right, he's going to get the book. Caleb, give me 1 second. I want the audience to see his book, just to give him credit for it. Dan is awesome. He is right. It's like, why are you shocked? Why did you think you were different? But on some level, I guess the Qataris did think they were different. And they got their wake-up call. Not so much. Oh, we're back. Here we are.
That's it?
Syria, Anatomy of a Regime Change. I'm going to have to get that book.
Forward by Oliver Stone. Yes.
I hear so much from people with their take on it. And it was so complicated. The way it was breaking down, you have some people who believe it was the Russians. You have some people believe it was Iranians. You have some people believe everybody was paid off. It will be in the book.
I think it's the first book that I know of that is dealing with the overthrow of Assad. I mean, I think it's very timely, and I hope people go out and get it.
Think about it. You have a safe one, man. Thank you for this.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye. All